Michael DiLeonardo, also known as Mikey Scars. The government says he's a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family.
No Excuses with Michael DiLeonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. We are on YouTube, Michael. First live we did on YouTube and been a while.
Yeah, a long time coming. Yeah, they deserve a little shot from us. That's good.
Yeah. It's been a long day today. I got up 5 o'clock this morning, went to work, left work at 10, drove all the way to Manhattan, did stuff in Manhattan, got in the car, drove all the way back, got here, edited up some stuff, and now we're here live. Been up since
Mazel tov.
My agent and publishing team did a little celebratory, a little celebratory book thing for me today. So and they just switched it. It was originally Friday, and then they called me yesterday and said we gotta do it today. So it was whatever. Long day, but I'm happy to be here.
Hence, that's you're postponing it. We were originally going to do this at 4 o'clock, and then you had the appointment, and getting back to New York with all the traffic pushed it another half hour. So we apologize for that. Just logistics and timing got in the way.
How you doing, brother?
You got to tell them about your partner. You want to show a picture of your partner? That little picture you sent me on the way in? You're sitting at the table with your book?
Yeah, well,
I think they should know about Yost, no?
Yeah, they can. It's no secret.
Show a picture of him so get visual.
I'll have to load it up here. So I'll do it as we're doing the show. I'll send it. It'll take a little time, but I'll show it while the show's going.
Very good.
How you doing, man? I didn't even get to talk to you today. I called you. You missed my call. You called me back. I missed your call. Then I called you back, and you missed my call again.
I took a nap.
Oh, there we go.
That's why I'm a little sleepy, but got a little tea in me right now. No alcohol, just tea, and wake up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
everything's great.
It's been a lot of new interest, maybe, in the genre as of late.
Junior. We talked about this, that once Junior went on Bet David, that it was going to stimulate a genre that was flat. It was pretty flat for everybody. So with him jumping on, with Junior Gotti jumping on with Patrick, stimulated a lot of the channels right now, which is good. You get your pros and your cons, and picking things apart, which is people come on here, they're going to pick it apart. Get ready, buckle up when you come out and open your mouth. A lot of people, people like to read negative things in the newspaper than positive things for the most part. Human beings like to see a negative. So, but it stimulated, regardless, it stimulated everybody. Everybody has done at least one show on the Patrick Bet-David stuff, which was huge. And then we followed up with the release of Junior and his dad. Junior brought up his dad and his prison conditions and everything. And I think the visual was at the right time to see the emotion that Junior was trying to describe on Bet David. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think, knowing John Gotti, he, after a while, he did not mind the press. He embraced it. He wanted to go down as a legend. I will continue it, as far as I know, calling out the bads that he done, the mistakes, and the greatness in the guy, as I seen it. Again, criminal nonetheless, but that's the scope I will speak to, is him as I knew him then and followed him. I'm not gonna you say we were all bad people at that time. Yeah, we were all bad people at the time, but I'm not gonna take a new position because I'm out of the life and say everybody's a bad guy in that life. There are bad people, and Cosa Nostra is not a good organization. It's anti-society. So, but I think I wanted to just have everybody see John in the state where everybody envisions what Junior has tried to get out there. I think that encapsulated the mental and physical torture that a son and a father could go through at that point, because it was hard to watch. It was hard for me to watch, and I've watched it a couple of times, and every time it's still hard, maybe harder each time I watch it. It gets more sobering. So between that, the Bette Davis show, and then, of course, Gravano, I told you he's jealous that John died that way. As crazy as that seems. John died with a sword in his hand. Sammy died. That life died with his dick in his hand. That's it. And he can't compare himself to John in that life. In any way in life. Any part of being a man, put the life aside, he can never be John. So I need to make this comparison of how he was, John, and how Sammy is today. I still won't let it go with John Gotti Sr. or his family and everybody else. That's my motivation. Every time this guy motivates, his talks, he motivates me. He don't get it yet. I'm just going to keep coming after him, calling him out on every nonsense thing he says. Now, we're going to show you a clip that befuddled me in a way, but you just expect to come from, but just to keep stepping on a landmine every time with me, and I express it to the world, whoever wants to listen, just to tell you what kind of animal this guy is. He's lying about being a Christian. He's born again or whatever faith he's following. Just like he wanted to be an Indian for cigarettes, and he abused the Indians, then robbed them just to smoke in jail. He's done that throughout his whole life. This guy's no John Gotti. He's no anybody that's been in prison forever. He can't compare to anybody who's in the street today. So we made a little clip because he complained. Him, Michael Franzese and Anthony Ruggiano, they seem to get on me because I did a little skit, a little picture. Maybe you could show that picture too, if you get a chance. Somebody had sent it to us, and we posted it. And there was no slight against Michael because it shows that Michael's trying to save him, because Michael had made statements to people that he heard from God that he wanted to save. He was told to try and save Sammy. So, yeah, I'm not knocking Michael's faith. If he says that's his goal to try to save him, I mocked it by saying, you're never going to save this guy. You're going to dip him in the pool to baptize him, but you're going to burn your hands because the water's going to start to boil because you put this punk in there. So there's no knock on him, but obviously the three of them just wants to try and gang up, which is fine. They could act like that. And he tell Michael, if you talk to Mikey Scars, you can't be my friend anymore. And there you go. So it was a little light fun with somebody I like to poke. But this is the truth. What I'm telling you, that's him. That's it. And I want you to show that clip if you can, right after you take this down, this picture. Everybody will get it when I'm talking about. Because this is right now, this week. Guy's never going to change. He's evil.
Says, sometimes I put you in places alone because I need you to realize that you don't need anybody but him. And never forget that he loves you. And he will always love us. Amen. Mikey Scars just did a thing, and on the front of it, a picture of me like a midget with horns, and Michael
I saw it.
Holding me, dunking me under the water. He bullshitted about being a born-again Christian. Yeah. Now he taught Sammy, and Sammy and him are doing it together. I think his whole life cocksucker. He just has nothing good to say.
What would you say to John Gotti today if he was alive?
What would I say now? I would kill him. I would shoot him right in the head. I would kill him. I would shoot him right in the head.
Not very religious, is that? Born again. Born again to do what? Kill 19, 20, 21 more? The guy's a nut. He's evil and he's a nut. That's what he would do. That's if when he calls me that name, I think he's looking in the mirror. Because the last time somebody called him that, he murdered him. Louis Molina. His best friend. Yeah, best friend, right. So, look, when he says I have nothing nice to say, he's absolutely right. If he says something factually correct, I line up with it. But I'm never going to say anything nice about it because you can't. There's no redeeming qualities. As you could see, if he said I called him out on his religion, look at the way he acts. So digest that, everybody. And if somebody has an opposite opinion, drop it in there.
You know, the worst, the part about that I thought was unfair was because it was a completely dishonest statements about that we have made content attacking Andy Ruggiano and attacking Michael Franzese, which is not even nothing in the existence of our library ever where we've ever done anything against those two. And that's the only part about it that I thought was and I was kind of surprised that, I mean, I would at least looked into it because they kind of piled on with them without even looking into it. But to my knowledge, you don't have no issue with Andy Ruggiano or Michael Franzese, 0%.
Zero. I have nothing with them. I never did anything with them. I only met Anthony a few times in the past life, and once over here, I took him to lunch. And he was great. Yeah, we were best friends at that point. So, look, and I've said this over and over. Sammy has done something that he still gets away when everybody knows what kind of major manipulator he is. I never thought he could manipulate Michael. Never. I thought Michael would have influence over him to try to put him on the right path, especially after that sit down they had, whether it was an act or not. Whatever it was, I thought maybe Michael could get in his head and straighten this guy out and maybe tell the truth. If Sammy wanted to redeem, tell the truth. Stop lying about everything. Sammy's good. He's gotten people murdered, different bosses. He's gotten in their ears and gotten people murdered on and off record. And did a lot of shady things and has gotten away with it with people. You know, he's really good at convincing people he had nothing to do with anything. It's everybody else's fault. And again, over here, look what he just did. He mobilized Anthony and Michael, which is pretty stunning that he still could do that when everybody knows what this guy really is. So we got all those questions for the Bet David show and the video. Let it go. I'll answer whatever I can.
You posted the picture with Michael, LOL. What did you expect Michael to think? You could at least let Michael know the context. You were poking RJ. Call it what it is.
No, I think I just explained it, Chaz. I think I explained it. It was Michael trying to do the good thing and try to save this guy, right? That's what he said he was going to do. And my poke at him was that you can't. You can't. It's futile. This proves it. See what he just did days later? How he acted in that tape, because that was a little longer, that tape, you little snippet you showed. Look what he did a couple of days later. Didn't he just embarrass Michael? He embarrassed Michael, not me. That's Michael's product, isn't it, right now?
So yeah, moving along. The Gotti Senior and Gotti Jr. Sit down. He said, for me, looking at that, do you have like an opinion that, because I was talking to someone else about it after they watched it, and it's two ways you can see it. First of all, you have the mob dynamic of it, like a boss and another guy in there. But more importantly, what you have is a father and a son more than anything. That's really what is sitting there, no matter what. I mean, that's really what's there. It's a father and a son. And I got to tell you, Michael, I agree with you. That cancer part in the beginning, that was rough. That was hard to look at. Seeing like, I'm very close with my father. I kept seeing Junior wipe his eyes, and you could just tell. And he's trying to be strong. He's saying, you know, from I tell you what, from the nose up, you look about the same. You know, he's trying to stay, you know, I know what he was trying to do. The weight discussion, you know, oh, you look good. And he said, I'm down to 165 or something, you know. But I gotta tell you, that was rough to see. And for me, the guy who's not in the mafia, outside guy, that video to me is like the answer. It's like the conclusion of what happens in that life. It doesn't lead to anything good. Families are broken, lives are destroyed, and that's a typical ending a lot of the time in that type of dynamic.
Yeah, it comes with a lot of pain, that life. And that's why when you bring your children in or loved ones into that life, they need to be prepared, and so do you. Hey, I had a brother in a life, I lost him. Could happen. I have many friends in that life, lost them. And that's something you have to come to terms with. If you're not ready for it, Idaho needs some guys picking potatoes. You know, shoe salesman. There's other things you can do in life. Don't choose that path if you're not going to be able to handle that, because it can happen. All that glitz and glamour you see from the outside. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I'm not saying everybody winds up like that, right? You're not saying that. There's plenty of guys coast through that life, make a lot of money, go down as legends, you know, and live a great life in that life. But then there's the other people that are in command in the politics of the life that get caught up, and bad things can happen and do happen. The jails are full of Italians and criminals all over the country. So you have to know what you're signing up for. And John Sr. didn't bring his son in there to powder his ass. John wasn't that way. So this is a culmination of Junior saying, I don't want to end up like you, Dad. And I've said this before.
Yeah.
Way before, right in the beginning, I said this, that when I used to see Junior come back from these visits, and this is before his father was sick, just in Marion, before his father got sick, that he would come back shaking to see what his father looked like. And they're trapped. The guy was a tiger in a small cage, you know, going around and around the circle. You could see John Sr.'s body language in this video. He's very animated. He's almost like he can't sit still. You know, he's frustrated because he can't say what he really wants to say and jam his son up on video, right? The whole world's going to see it. And they're going to dissect it. And body language. And like I was asked when I watched it, is there any signals, is there any codes he's given his son? No, there was nothing there. You know, so first time I ever seen the full length. And you know, the dynamic is hard to watch, as we could keep saying that, as a father and son, because there's a split now. The word closure that upsets John. And he knows what he's asking for. And John Sr. can't handle that. It's a huge disappointment to him that his son's asking for that, not fighting the good fight. We're going to trial, knowing that they're going to keep hitting him with case after case. You have to stand your ground. That's why I went to trial in Atlanta. You have to stand your ground, because they're not going to stop with one case. I knew there's going to be more cases. You got to be crazy not to think there's more cases. There's no pound of flesh here. When you're in the top level in the hierarchy and making decisions, or they know you were involved in X amount of murders, let's say, they're not going to let you go. They're not going to give you 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years and let you go about your life, unless you just leave and you take 5 years and they can't hit you with a racketeering count. They can't start no predicates. You got to leave. But when you're in the mob, you don't leave. You know, you're there. So his father knows the future, what's going to happen to him. So just think about his physical pain, his mental anguish, and now his son's coming to him after he told his own brother and his best friends go to trial. Almost die in jail. Now son's coming to him. How does he make that exception? Even though, it's a misnomer that the guys didn't take plea deals under John. They did. Other guys didn't want the trial blew, and some of them died in jail. They got life. But other guys did make deals at that time. So John Sr.'s wrestling with all of this. He wants his son with his name. And Junior may feel bad I'm saying this, but it's just a fact the way I feel it. That it was a disappointment to him that he didn't fight that case. My Atlanta case, I sent the message. I'm fighting the case to John Sr. when he was sick. So,
do you think that that boss mentality kicks in over dad mentality? Because I don't know about. I mean, you would know better than I do because you know them both. But see, I can only speak for dad mentality.
Okay. I'll give you an example. Well, another example outside of John Gotti. Someone who capitulated. Gigante. When his son got arrested.
There you go.
He went in, they cut his son loose or get him a better deal or whatever. They made a deal with Chin to admit it was all an act. He capitulated. He didn't admit the mob. He didn't admit to nothing. They just wanted him to admit he was feigning mental illness. He did a pretty good job. Had a lot of people fooled in the government and doctors, etc. But the street knew who and what Chin was. But he capitulated for his son, to save his son. So yes, dad mentality kicks in. They killed guys for going to Larry Ricci, right? He was on trial. From what the rumor was at the time, they told him to take a deal. I wasn't there, so I don't know. It was just a rumor. And he didn't take the deal in that case. They banged him out. And you know what happened? Posthumously, he got acquitted. What a shame. He wanted to fight the case. So there's different dynamics with different families and different mindsets with leadership from the boss on down. Every family is different and every leader is different. And you can see here with John Sr., he was trying to be the boss and make his son toe the line of what he made his brother do and his best friends do. Go to trial.
Do you think that one of the big questions that came in was the closure comment? John wants closure. What does that mean?
Yeah, he wanted out of the life. And that's what, look, that message was sent up, as John said it, through Jojo Carrazzo, the attorney, to him. Imagine by the time he got that message until the sun came up, what John Sr. was thinking. He was not happy.
That's one of those 90s words, those overeducated, underintelligent 90s words.
Right.
Dissect all this for us, because like we did the Gotti tapes, you can really explain. Like I asked you, because a lot of the other questions were, why did he call Bruce Cutler a rat? And maybe you can explain some of this closure stuff. What was John really saying, and from how you understand them?
Say you're not a nouveau guy. There's no such word. This is Cosa Nostra. Don't think you're smarter than me or the life. You can't get out of this life. That's what he's telling his son. He wasn't happy. He says, John said he wants closure, and he says that's a word for who? He threw that right on his son's lap. He called his son that. Underintelligent. In other words, you can't, John. At that point, at that moment, that's what he was telling him. What are you telling me? This don't exist. That word should never exist. And what you're telling me you want me to do for you should never exist. That's my interpretation. Because look, he just assaulted his son right to his face. That's what I'm saying. He ruminated about this before he got this visit. And again, that's the boss mentality, right? Then the father's mentality comes in there, and he loves his son. So, John's going through a lot of different feelings right now. The boss I'm talking about, and Junior sitting there has to receive this.
I always say in our discussions, like, two things can simultaneously exist. And this is a situation that I see like that, because I see them both as right. John's right, Senior's right, and a street perspective. But Junior is right in the human perspective. I'm looking at my dad right in front of me with his face ripped off. He made the joke about, I told your mom I don't even got titties, but I got a mastectomy. He's watching his father rot in front of him. He's seeing the downside of the life, and he's saying, man, this isn't. And I like that part in the Patrick interview when Junior said, I got to stop this. Like, where does it end? You die in jail? I die in jail? My kids die in jail? My grandkids die in jail? Where does this end?
It's easy to answer that. He made it end. Junior made it end. Maybe didn't realize at the time. When he worked into the government's office, he broke the cycle. 20 years later, hopefully he comes to terms with that instead of him ruminating about other stuff, meaning Junior. But the reality is, you signed up for this, and that's what his father's trying to tell him, John. There's nothing you quit. You don't quit. It's not in a band. You don't quit band. It's not a baseball team. And that's the reality. To break the cycle, that's easy. Don't bring your sons, your nephews, or anybody else into life. Cousins, you don't bring them into life. That's how you do it. Well, he did it the best way. At this point, the best way.
Yeah.
Because it brought shame upon the name. Again, you may not like it, but you walked into the government's office. And that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. You broke the cycle. Right now, 20 years later, you did the right thing for your family if you wanted out. If you regret it, you want to unring the bell, go back to trial, not have that visit with your father, we can't unring the bell. I like to unring the bell a couple of times. You can't. It's over. You got to accept it. It's the only way you move on. It's the only way you heal. You got to forgive yourself first and realize what you did wrong.
There's and we talked about this a little bit on Patreon, and that show will make its way over to YouTube. It should have already been out, but I just been so busy. But that interview, 99% of it, the guy's brilliant, Michael. I mean, I told you before, I can see, because I know you so well, and you've been my friend for so long, like, watching him is so much like talking to you. The way he's so well read, so well versed in history and things like that. I tell you, I was on the edge of my seat the whole interview. I just think the guy is brilliant beyond words, and I can see why you guys got along so well. I can see why you guys were friends. But I gotta say, and it would be unfair for us not to, be straight. The 302 part.
You froze. Where'd you go? Ajay. It's not a good look. Come on back. Are you back? Yeah.
Yeah. Did we cut out? Sorry.
Yeah, the 302 part. That's where you stopped.
302 part is when I started getting a little shaky, because Omerta isn't something that started here. This goes back 100 years. Very clear. Yeah. Well, yes. It's been here for over 100 years, but it was here longer than that. It's very simple. There's not hard to, this isn't calculus, Omerta. It means silence. You don't say nothing. You don't talk. You can't. We talked about this on Patreon, but we're kind of talking about it here for the sake of the YouTube discussion. But the rules of Omerta are very simple. And to my understanding, you can't even go in and get permission to go talk. So let's say, for the sake of the conversation, that there were people like Joe Butch and these other people given permission. They would just be in the same boat, right? They would all be killed. They're all, by the mafia standards, rats, right? Anybody who would be signing off on something like that. There's no gray area with talking. It's very clear. There's no talking. You can't go in and talk to the government about the life. Zero, zip, period. There's no discussion on that. There's no and there has been some substantial goalpost moving. And the sad part about that is it's not really coming. I understand why it's being moved by guys on YouTube who were former guys in the life. That makes sense to me. Justification, I can't really accept that word. That was my favorite part of the Patrick interview, when he said whoever came up with that Omerta thing, he said, I sat with everybody, all the guys, and all of the guys cannot accept breaking that Omerta code of silence. They all have this dance that they start doing when it's time to discuss that, because it is hard. It is a lot of pain with it. And I think the reason why you've been so well received on YouTube is, I have to say, Michael, you're the only one that just straight. I flipped. No excuses. You named the channel. No excuses. You've never denied it. You never came up with some tricky way why it's different. And I tried to make you take a different stance in conversation. Michael, they stole your businesses. They took your money. Nope. I can't do what I did, RJ. And there is a freeing component to that, where you can kind of free yourself a bit just by the honesty part of it. But Junior's definitely struggling with the fact that he went in. He's definitely struggling with it. You can tell it in the video.
Yeah, well, that's why I said if he wants to grab on something, he broke the cycle. That's what he proposed to his father. How do you? He did it. That's how he did it. Let's get
in my opinion,
yeah,
last thing I'll say about it, Junior picked the right family. Senior picked the wrong family. Senior picked the Gambino family. Junior picked his family, his wife, his children, his grandchildren. And it was a good thing. And I'm glad he did it, because I don't want to see, there's no point in dying in the box and suffering and going out of this world the way he watched his father go out of it. So to me, I think it's a good thing. I mean, what kind of life is that? So that's my opinion of it.
Yeah, they would have kept hitting with case after case. That's it.
Yeah.
But Isaac 859.
Let's see, 859. Guys, if you're going to ask any questions, can you just put the word question in front of your comment, or a Q or something in front of your comment?
Q.
And that'll help me be able to see your question. What's the guy? Isaac Michael?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, fellas. So grateful for you guys.
859. Besides that one.
Sorry.
Like you anyway. 859. It's let me see if I can read it. Hi guys, Michael, to extend, and he's got question marks there too. You got it?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Michael, to extend on RJ's question from the last video recording, the video regarding denying a direct order. Were you actually going to throw Joe Coffey a beating if you caught him at that dinner?
Well, it was called off by then. But yeah, you can't refuse John's order. It was problematic because the guy was a cop and he carries a gun, at least one. So it would have been a problem. But, once you order to do something, you got to do it. It was called off. And like I said, I was sitting there with Alley Boy, and I looked up, it was in Elaine's restaurant up in Uptown Manhattan. I said, this guy don't know how lucky he is. He was almost going to the hospital.
Some of these questions are unbelievable. All right. $50 super chat. Want you to support the channel.
Jason, hopefully you're a Patreon member. If not, save the money on here. And everybody, save the money here. Just join Patreon or sponsor somebody on Patreon. But we really appreciate the 50. We will sponsor people with that. We will get 5 people and sponsor them to be on Patreon. So, Jason, if you're not on Patreon, please jump in with us. Jeff, stop giving us money. I'll sponsor you.
Jeff Nadeau super chats $20 and says, "Nice sweater, RJ."
Watch out, he'll be in your closet.
Thanks, Jeff.
What do we got here?
Junior explained the unknown soldiers who most people don't know who take care of things. Michael, any input?
Yeah, just about everybody has a few guys in the background that you don't know about, that don't come around or come around very limited. Yeah, I had a few guys myself. Sure.
John Sr. didn't have to die like that. With proper medical treatment, he could have died with much more dignity and less pain. It was shameful, evil treatment, like the government's payback. Truly evil.
The BOP, get on the wrong side. Bureau of Prisons, that is. Get on the wrong side, you got a bad mark on you. You're going to suffer. I've seen it. Even in the witness unit, you see it. You get on the wrong side, it's over when it comes to medical. And John should never have been there that long, regardless of him, what Junior said, because I remember something, he had to sign a paper. One was the paper that he wouldn't see Junior if they sent the regular population. And John told him not to sign that. I'm surprised Junior didn't mention that one. But
he did. I think he did mention that. Didn't he say something about his dad told him don't send?
No, he was going to renounce who he was in the past. Not a mob guy. He was just to say I'm a different person. But I think there was one also that if Junior wouldn't visit him, they would send him a population. They were worried about messages and all. But that they should put that aside. That's nonsense. He did his time in there, the max time. I think it's 18 months or something like that. In Marion, they should have shipped them out like they ship everybody else out, unless you commit a murder in prison. Usually that's when you stay there for the rest of your life until they open up ADX level 6.
Yeah, always looking at that video, I've learned about myself. There's nobody you can't put it in front of me with no crime that I can't find some sympathy when I see a person suffering. It's very difficult to look at that kind of stuff. $10 donation for Matt. For a patron.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Do you think Junior ever had a chance of not being in the life? Was it more so Senior who wanted him in, or both?
Oh, definitely both. But I remember one time way back, John Senior, he was in Pastels, and he invited me up to the VIP, and we were sitting there. I wasn't a friend then either. I wasn't a wise guy then, and. He was talking to, I think, Ali Shades, and he's telling Ali Shades, "I'll never put my son in the life." And it pricked me up, because I already knew Junior. And I didn't know him that well at that time, but I knew. I said, we're going to try to figure that out. Because usually you want to have somebody in that life that you could really go to sleep with, and that would be your son, your brothers, etc., childhood friends. And I believed them at that time for a minute, but then later on, I seen Junior coming around a lot by the club, and I knew that was going to end.
Michael, did you keep a personal list of made guys and rank within other families? I've heard you were a guy who knew everybody and took time to commit it to memory.
Yeah, no, I never kept a list of anything. Any monies I got from contractors or anybody else, even my Shylock book. I had a little piece of paper this big that I wrote on. I wasn't a records guy. Junior was a big records guy. He wanted records of everything. No, I didn't know everybody, but from being around since a kid, I know a lot of people. The Bronx was probably a little sketchy for me, for other families.
Very true. Pete the Greek. Very true, RJ. He picked the right family, his wife and kids. It's always going to be my position. I don't.
This gave, one guy gave 19 on. I can't see it on here, and then another guy gave $100.
Yeah, I was going to go to him here. I'm trying to. Let's see here. See, Michael, when you say don't give money, people give you more money. Sponsoring someone's Patreon membership, best Christmas gift, $99.99. We have never, all the donations we always have gotten since the day we started until now. We always just put them towards different things with people. We've even given out like money to like people needed help with stuff or like stuff like that, and pay for meet and greets and things like that. So thank you, Isaac. $99. Let's see, Jason, $20. I am grateful for Mike not letting Sammy and these backstabbers lie on John. Leave it to Sammy. John was the no good one, shaking my effing head. Mikey loves John like a father, and you can see it. Thank you, Mike. John has always been my idol.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, was John a criminal? Was he a major criminal? Was he, a murderer? Absolutely. But I can't take my place now and turn my back on them, saying everybody was no good. I was no good when I was in that life, for society. But when you're in the right life, I loved it when I was in that life. People now, you can always reflect. Monday morning quarterbacking, right? Yeah. Say, yeah, this was no good. I could have done that. I regret it. I don't regret it. Sammy, in that same video that you showed that clip from, you know what he said? Just past Monday. He said he regrets nothing he did. Nothing. Made him the person he is today. His exact words. So, like I said, when Sammy's still in that life, in his mind, he thinks he's part of Cosa Nostra. So I'm not copping out for saying, but referencing back to my affinity for John, yeah, at that time, yeah, I looked up to the guy. I would have done anything for the guy. He made me a soldier, he made me captain, and then he made me godfather to his grandson. So do I turn my back on him for helping me with all that stuff? I know I flipped, I cooperated. We know about all that. But still, right now in this chair, I'm not going to knock the guy. I call out his mistakes that I feel. Others may feel they weren't.
Do you know why you don't get credit for calling out the mistakes? Because we talked about the Paul hit, many different things, the drug business. But it's because you don't put the invective with your word choice. You don't put the F you and the suck this and suck that. And you know how to talk in a gentleman-like way. So it doesn't sound like you're calling out a mistake. It's like this. If there's one, does it bother you that comment comes in? Like we're just like that you just like kiss the Gotti ass. Does that agitate you at all?
Well, I take it two ways. Okay. One, I'm flattered, right? Because they put me even that much closer to John and acknowledging that, right? And the second part is, yeah, I take an affront to it because I do call out when I felt he made mistakes. Now, am I his judge? No, I'm not going to judge. It's for everybody out here to judge. But I'm going to call out what I seen from a guy I respected highly. You could love somebody and call out a mistake, can't you?
You can everywhere except for here. It's very difficult here. People get real mad at the truth on here.
You know what? we have such a file. We have like 26,000 people now on here. They're signed up. And then we have like another 2/3 more that follow us without hitting the subscribe button. And we don't hustle that. You want to subscribe, you want to follow us, that's fine. That's why we're not on YouTube that much, because this is not a money grab. Somebody else just gave, as I said that, somebody give $50. But John was you had to be in his company to understand. His son tried to articulate it, but I think coming from a son or family member, it falls flat because that's your father. Of course, you idolize your father. But for a guy like myself and other people that looked up to John, it means more. I think our voice is bigger than even his son. because it's not to talk from my father-son relationship. Of course, that's going to be his idol. Hopefully, my sons feel I'm their idol, and I can put them on the right path and give them advice. So,
Michael, this damn chat is moving so fast. Michael, we didn't do a live in so long. I just threw this up. We're coming on at 9. It's like 600, almost 600 people here. It's like,
that's
you know
why
why our channel will always succeed? And no matter how many people pray against our downfall, if there is some, let's say, we get mostly love on here. So I don't think there's a lot of it. But I think it's because exactly what you just said, that we can just be straight on here.
Why not?
Just a straight channel. Just that's it. It works.
Ajay, look, I testified in 15 trials. This is not a brag. Each trial I want to get a heart attack, literally. I don't want to get up there. But I've been grilled by the best lawyers in the city. What happened?
I was messing with you.
You can't.
No, I was joking. Go ahead.
I've been grilled. There's so much stuff that I've admitted to. And they tried to get all these bad acts and things I did wrong and all that because they want to dirty you up in front of a jury. It's all been said. I have no problem with it. If I have to come on here and try to make myself look good, everybody tried to make me look bad when I was on that stand. And that's their job to do that. People have their freedom up. They're supposed to come at you. So have I answered all of that already? Am I going to run away from what's true and what's not true? Just tell the truth. It's easy. I don't have to remember a lie. Before I had to lie at times to cover people's asses. But right now, there's no need for it. That's why we have an open channel to everybody here.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? You just said that. The reason you look good, a person looks bad when they try to make themselves look good. A person looks good when they're able to talk about their bads.
True.
We are a very forgiving people. I've learned that about humans. All we want is for people to be fucking honest. People just hate a liar and a person who excuses everything. That's Sammy's problem. The reason why he gets so much, it's so easy to say something about him negative, is because he's the hero in every story. And anytime someone's the hero in every story, they're probably telling a falsehood.
Yeah, and that was his delusion when we were in the street, that he was right all the time. He's a righteous one, no matter how egregious his acts were later on. But at the time, he was good at what he did. Here's one, Immortal Kazushi, if I said it right. I once heard John Gotti Jr. described as a thug, mindless, dumb steroid freak that was totally blown out of the water. He's obviously a very intelligent person. It was an interview that needed to happen. Yeah, again, the longer somebody talks, of course, you're going to get to know them a little bit better, right? And this is what I've been seeing. Junior's not like his father. And I just want to bring a point. It just hit me just now. Junior said in the video, his father could say 3,000. He's watching us.
You said the same thing.
He said the same thing.
Our first video we ever did, you said John would say ting rather than thing. John knew how to say thing. You think John's going to be in the street saying the $5 word? $2 word out of the question. That was our first video we ever made.
Yeah. And Junior repeated that because that was John Sr. He talked hard because he felt like he had to show hard in the street.
Yeah.
But the guy was intelligent, to get back to the Immortal's point. And so was Junior, very well read. Junior went to military school. And this was a little problem with him. John, keep an open mind. This was he's gotta, this was the military mindset, how he was schooled for military protocols. And you can see the way he speaks. His vernacular, a lot of times when he speaks, has to do with militaristic terms.
Yes.
Cosa Nostra is not military. It's regimented, but different. There's different dynamics that go into militaristic schooling and teachings and Cosa Nostra teachings. Different. His father understood that. His father sent him to school, I guess, I don't know, he never told me, but to be regimented. Give him structure in his life. So,
Michael, where does he get all? Because I always wonder the same thing with you. Because you'll be telling me all this history stuff sometimes, and then you'll say, "RJ, I haven't read a book in 20 years or something." But you always have all. Is Junior a big reader? How does he have all that stuff in his? He's
big
a reader.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah. He loves Indian history, unless something changed, is his favorite. I think his favorite chief was Chief Joseph, if I remember. Matter of fact, I got him a ring. It was about this big. It was a chief, and I tried to match it with the eyes with all kinds of rubies and diamonds and stuff like that to make it look the headdress. You know what I mean? And I got him that. He's huge on Indian culture.
He said his favorite. I did like this part. He said in that interview that Nelson Mandela is like his only guy that's his idol. I read Mandela book, studied the whole apartheid history in South Africa. Mandela, that's my. It's nothing like Nelson Mandela. The guy is just unbelievable.
No, he has a penchant for history. Always has. One of his favorite movies. I think his most favorite movie is Spartacus. Anybody ever seen Spartacus? You know what I'm talking about. So,
RJ, if you missed it, Consenza asked a question for Michael. What was the Chicago outfit's reputation among NYC mafia men?
I want to tell you about Bruce City. He's a highly intelligent guy, and he's been a long time member. And I get back to your question. I gave you the accolade, bro. New York was always respected. The Chicago guys. I've never heard anything demeaning about any other family except for the Philly family later on, where John told us these guys we can't acknowledge them. There was that one point where John Sr. says not to acknowledge the Philly guys. But he's never really knocked anybody. But going back into history, my mentors, they talked about the Philly guys. They talked about the Baltimore crew. Our crew we had in Baltimore. We were very active with the Baltimore crew. But Chicago guys were legendary in New York. Absolutely.
All right. I got so many super chats to catch up on. And guys, I don't pick questions because you pay for them. I just feel like I have to click it because you sent money in with next to it. So I can't not like acknowledge you for the donation. So thank you. Jason Carl, $10. I was with Tony Roach his last few years alive.
Elmira.
In Elmira, he was a stand-up guy. I ate with him for years, played handball and softball.
Hey, Jason, did he tell you how we played softball? Did he ever mention me playing softball with him? Against him. He pitched against us. We wrecked him. And we were making fun of him that he was a prison pitcher. Tony Roach was a nice guy. I mean, scary-looking guy to look at, very serious, big drug problem. But he was a good guy. There's a little bit that I know him, and he loved to play ball. You're right. He would like to play softball. And I made 2 tremendous catches against him, center fielder. And he went back and told John Sr. after we finished the game. He was a good guy. I liked it. As far as I know him, I wouldn't do any business with Tony. But he was a gentleman.
Hi guys. $50 donation. Hi guys, RJ. How can I get the book? Thank you for the donation. Book is available anywhere books are sold. I have gotten so much support from everybody. I cannot thank everybody enough. I wish I could handshake everybody who has supported the book. The Don, just search The Don, 36 Rules of the Bosses. You can go to your local bookstore. It's all over the country on shelves. Or you can get it online. Amazon's really easy to get it. You'll have it the next day. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Mike, I should give a book away today. I'm going to do that. We'll pick a name and I'll sign one and ship it. Okay.
Tevin, you've been a great supporter of our channel. Thank you very much. Besides the money, thank you for that. But you've been a great supporter of our channel. You're here a long time. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna give away the Don today. All right, hardback book. I'll sign it and I'll ship it out. We'll pick one person. And Michael, I'm gonna send it to you.
Question. I don't want to interrupt. I just want to. I'll get back to that. Johnny RODZ Rhodes. It says, funny John Jr. only showed the first page of the 5-page 302. Why didn't he bring the other 4 pages to Patrick's video? And I wanted to address this. RJ and I had talked about this. And we alluded to this a little bit earlier. That's the problem with doing an interview. Because guys like you are going to call out guys like Junior that are going to come on here and try to tell a story. You can't show 1 page, John. You got to show them all. You showed a very innocuous page. You called out certain names. That was probably all right. I'm not going to question. I do not know. It was probably an embarrassment to the government that they didn't know what was in that 302. But the other pages were compelling. And that's what makes you lose credibility and why we'll be getting inundated with just that alone. I'm just calling it out because you're catching heat over that because you didn't go through all of them. That's considered lying. When you show a little bit, it's like the government playing a snippet of a paragraph, and that snippet may find you guilty. When there's a rest of the paragraph could exculpate you. So by doing that, if you do it again, my opinion, my advice, show them all or don't show them at all. For me, I would never bring up those 302s ever again in life. Let it go. You said you're 22 years removed. Let it stay that way. Good question, Johnny.
Yeah, I like what you said on Patreon. Like when you said, I know it hurts. Nobody knows more than me. You said that on Patreon.
That's right. Hurts. Good. Back to your book. Good. Hurry up.
No, so I'll pick somebody at random. If you're interested, first of all, just drop a 36 in the chat and I'll pick somebody and I'll sign it. Michael, I'll sign it, send it to you, you sign it.
Okay.
And then we send it to the person that we pick. So you'll get 2 autographs.
I got a better idea. Read my mind. What's my idea?
Meet him in person and give it to him.
Close. You sign it, get on a plane, come down here, meet me. I sign it, and then we send it out together.
We'll do that.
And
that's what I will do. I'm coming to see you soon anyway.
I could get 1 steak dinner out of you.
You still owe me a couple steak
You
dinners.
owe me a blueberry pie that I never got. I'm holding you accountable, and you owe me 3 steak dinners.
Yes. If you guys are wondering what the bet was, we had an election. We're not talking politics because on here you can't talk about anything that has even the word P attached to it. But we lost some bets about the election, so I owe Michael a bunch of dinners. He says to me, RJ, you can't understand these people unless you think like a gangster or a criminal.
Right.
Yeah. All right, continuing down. Let me just get the rest of these super chats real quick so everyone doesn't feel. $10 donation. Curtis Leawood took more bullets than both Gottis. That's a real man.
That's pretty witty, Steve. That's pretty good. Yeah, he should have shut his mouth. He would have took no bullets. All baseball bat beating.
Yeah.
You know what? God saved him. He was saved. He got the guy. I think the guy got shot 5 times, close range. He lived. He had to jump out a window. And little Joe, we was trying to knock his head off, bouncing him into cars. Very fortunate.
Michael, was the Gambino family active in Rochester? And I thank you for this comment. Thank you for being the most respectful LNC channel on YouTube. We can have elegance in this genre. It can exist.
Yeah. Look, some people want to the guy you just showed the clip of. When a guy kills 19, 20, 21, 22, and did all the evil deeds he did, says he's the toughest guy, do you really have to curse? Do you really have to use an expletive to make sure everybody knows you're a tough guy or think you're still tough? Those words, that's noise. That's the dog that's barking with no teeth. Worry about the quiet guy.
$10 from Matt for Patreon. Thank you, Matt. I think I got all the super chats. If I didn't, I'm very sorry. Now I'm just picking questions at random here. Mikey, why are the Jets and Giants such a dumpster fire? As a Boston guy, I feel like it's a bad for any league if markets like New York or Boston are bad.
Yeah, interesting. Yes, the big cities, you want to have those teams really compete, like the Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers. Not to take away from any other teams, but you need those big markets to get the hype going most of the time. And who don't love an underdog, right? The Kansas City Royals, the Giants years ago, teams like that. The Cleveland Indians, they try to get there. A team that hasn't won in a while. Yeah, no, it's bad management, bad ownership. It's just like the Yankees. Terrible GM we have. Yeah, it comes down to ownership. And it's not that they don't spend money. They spend money. Just that terrible management. Yeah, which, you know what? These questions of who's the toughest and the toughest guy in the street or the most toughest crew.
I know you hate those questions.
Yeah, and you know what? Because I always felt every wise guy, everybody, even the guys that were going to be wise associates, never underestimate them. I'll give you one of my sayings. It's the last guy with the gun. Roy DeMeo had X amount of bodies. We don't know. It's just a guess. The guys who killed Roy DeMeo became the new tough guys.
Yeah, I always liked when Franzese said that on Bet David. He said they kept on saying, who was the most feared? And did you fear John Gotti or something? He said, guys, we don't fear each other in that life. He said, it's if you get called to go on a hit, you're going, and that's it. It don't matter who is the guy you have to take it out on, So, I mean, I heard you say that too. You said about before we were talking, you said something about Junior was so big and going to the gym. He got real big and muscular. And you said, but RJ, muscles don't matter in that life. And you said about Lilo, you brought up. You said the freaking bum had the power of life and death in his hand. He's this big. You say, Michael, you want a cookie? Michael, you want a cookie?
That's right. It's like anybody seen Prince's Honor. You want a cookie? That's what kind of old man he was. But you can take your life in a minute.
Michael, do you think subtly Senior was trying to let you hear that statement to you about putting his son into life so you could talk Junior out of it?
No, I think it was just because it wasn't directed at me. I think they were just talking about, because Ali had a son who later on got into life also. So I think it was just two guys at that point just talking.
How would you respond to this? I know I have an opinion, but yours is more important. I can't respect Senior bringing his kid into the life.
Yeah, it's a great statement from the outside looking in, and that's no slight on your question at all.
There you go.
Without family members being in, there would be no Cosa Nostra. Because that's all it was. That was this big. Everybody's related. Every time I run into Sicilian, right? Where you from? Sicily. Oh, well, you could be my cousin. The island's this big. We get a little laugh. I say it all the time. Every time I meet a new Sicilian, it was all about family. It was all about friends. It was all about paisans and gumbadas. Paisans from your town, gumbadas to best man, baptisms, etc. That's what galvanized it. When it got to the States, it became more widespread. Early on, it was still the paisans and those people in those towns that stuck together. It's when the outsiders started to come second, third, fourth generation type guys that it spread out. But look what it did. It diluted it. So, Yeah, it's a tough question to answer. It depends on your perspective, how you want to view your perspective on that
Yeah,
life.
historically speaking, it was like understood you would bring your son in. It wasn't if, it was when at a time. The further you go back, if you look at the 80s up, it became different. It was a lot of just, it became very different. But if you go back from, like, I say 1890 all the way at least to 1930, 40, if you had a brother-in-law, dad, a cousin, whatever, you were all going in. All your kids were going in. It wasn't a question. That's why Carlo brought his son in. What else was he going to do? You're supposed to come in.
Well, I tell you the story about, I told you a story about my grandfather, my father, right? They were on Elizabeth Street, Dumbedutz's club. And well, that was, now Elizabeth Street was, all the Sicilians were on that block, right? And Lucky Luciano asked my grandfather, my father was older than Lucky, of course, to bring my father into the life. My father was born in 1912. This is probably 1929, 1930. They straightened you out young in those days. And he said to Lucky, my father told me the story firsthand. And he said that he told Lucky, his godfather's dead, his padrone, Muria. Nobody gets my son. So he kept him out then, and then he kept him on when Carl wanted to put him into life later on.
Is there any truth to you appearing on Patrick Bet David?
False rumor. Thank you, Pat. Hope the
RJ
family
is
got it.
ignorant to the real Mandela.
Okay. We could talk, Liam. We can have discussion. Go into the private message. I think you're a Patreon now. We're going to the private messages. I'm gonna be interested to see you two. You go back and forth.
Nah, it's okay.
I like that. No, let him. He's got reasons. Let's hear him. Maybe we can learn.
Giganti.
Here's one. Detroit Sigi. Detroit. We're in Sicily. What town? It says word is Torpedo holds an administrative Torpedo in Israel holds an administrative position. First of all, I would hope not. I heard he was pretty sick for a little while. But I would hope not.
Before I ask you this question, I asked you this on Patreon. A lot of people were talking about it, so I have to ask. Junior talked about where Sammy got his name from.
Yeah, okay.
And we always knew it as he got into a fight over his bike, and they said, look, he's like a little bull. Junior talked about the name actually came from Bull's Head because he was from Bull's. Is that Long Island?
Staten Island.
Staten Island. So is that, now you knew Sammy since 8 years old, so no one's going to be able to answer this better than you can. True or false?
Oh, you go to sleep on my answer. No question. No, Sammy had that name for when he was a teenager, well, not a young teenager, that I know of. Junior got a bad tip. Whoever told him that gave him wrong information. 1,000%. Go sleep.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep on it.
Bet the house on it.
And you know what? Sammy said it, so I just concurred with Gravano again. See, we could concur.
Agreement can be found.
Sure. When the truth lies within.
Junior said he was told by Senior that Sammy was nowhere near Sparks when Paul was whacked. Do you believe this?
You know, I wrestle with this at times, but I lean towards Sammy was there. You know, I really do lean towards there. The only thing on suspect well, not suspect. I know for a fact he didn't plan it. He's doing movies and shows. He planned ahead. He did everything. He told Frank DeChico, told John to shut the fuck up and all that other nonsense. Let Sammy's in 19 wars. That's all nonsense. That's a lie. What comes out of Sammy's mouth. But I believe he was there. So I'll have more on that later on. But I believe he was there. It's just Sammy's crew. If you think about it, if he plotted and planned, this is where I'm going to disagree with him on the plotting and planning part, not being there. is that Sammy had not one of his guys on the scene. Now we know Sammy used his whole crew for everything. He would have took at least Eddie Garofalo on the hit. So, or one of the other guys he really trusted. And there was none. It was just him. Mostly it was all John's appointees on that hit. John Sr.'s appointees on that hit. So that's where we're going to differ on that. But I think he was there.
Let's see. Who was the toughest guy you ever met in that life?
Yeah, that's the same question. Toughest guy is the last guy with the gun. Now, guys with their hands, there's a lot of guys with their hands that can fight. But once you're a wise guy, you're not fighting. You're not. Once they know you're a wise guy, you ain't putting your hands up.
Who made guys, but not fighting. Well, I guess because you can't hit the main guy back. So
yeah, it's not that fight. Yeah. So even though as a captain, I was wrestling on the ground with people, they didn't know who I was. I even got pistol whipped when I was a captain. I fight with somebody. I told that story, right? So when you rough it up, you just rough it up. It doesn't matter. But in the street, Jimmy Emma, Papa, Mikey Michio, yeah, a lot of guys. There's so many guys. Tilio, a lot of guys that were really Nicky Izzo. These are guys that really rough with their hands, go with their hands. And I'm missing. It's not fair because I'm missing like 100 guys that will go with their hands in the neighborhood that I know of.
I don't say this like playfully at all, but Sammy was like a boxer and stuff, right? Like
he boxed when he became later on when he became a captain around there. He was doing all that boxing stuff. Before that, I don't remember ever boxing. Maybe box oranges in the grocery store, but boxing, no. I don't remember any of that as a kid.
Do you think there's any possibility that you and Junior could ever make amends?
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, I asked for forgiveness. Who am I not to forgive? Thank you, Colette.
Can you speak on your interactions with Skinny Dom?
I testified against him, so there's some material out there. Yeah. I like Skinny Dom. We got straightened out together. He was a Gotti loyalist. John really liked him. Very close to Fat Andy also, and Tony Lee. Very, very close.
Michael, what do you think about the people supporting the CEO killer?
Guy's murdered. He's got family. That's the first thing you got to think of when somebody dies. What did he do to that person directly? Zero, right? He didn't do that to him. Zero. Now, in the state of today, the way the world is, how crazy and radical people could be with their thoughts. You really think this guy was in his right mind? What he did, how he did it? Take somebody's life you don't even know? So, no, I don't like it at all. I don't like it, what he did at all.
You answered that one. Did Sammy's crew, did Junior really save Sammy's crew from being clipped after he flipped, as he said in the PBD interview?
Well, Tony, if you didn't see it, we did a show on this, I believe. But when he's talking about Sammy's crew, he's talking about Lou Valerio. He's talking about Thomas Carbonaro Huck. And he's talking about Eddie Garofalo, Sammy's brother-in-law. Yes, he had ultimate say to stop it. And I'll just give you a brief thing what happened. Jimmy Brown, Joe Watts, and that contingent, Danny Marino. And then later on, Nicky Carrazzo jumped in with his opinion about that she clipped those three guys. And Junior talked to me about bringing them in. And I went back and forth. And the reason why they wanted to clip them was they felt that those guys were going to visit him, little Joey D'Angelo also. But They didn't want to clip him. He wasn't in that conversation. And they felt that Sammy might have told one or all he was going to flip, and they did not report it. That was the feeling that was out there. So they wanted to just clean house and kill all three of them. So when Junior brings it to me, I said, what, they got proof one of these guys did this? They're rats then if he could prove it, right? So we went back and forth, and this went on for months. And Junior was getting a lot of pressure, especially when Nicky jumped in on him. And, some of those guys realized I was the guy stopping Junior from letting this happen. And I had a meeting with Jackie Nose on Bay Parkway in the McDonald's there. And the meeting came from, the message come from Joe Watts and Danny Marino that I'm in a gray area. Because I was stopping it from happening. The message was, I'm in a gray area. I said, Jack, you don't even know what a fucking gray area is. What are you talking about? You're going to kill 3 guys because you think Sammy may have told him he's going to flip? If you prove it, then you got a right to kill him for not bringing the message in that Sammy was going to flip, that he was talking about. But after that, I fell out of favor there, even more so with Jimmy Brown and that side. And Nicky Crosser had mentioned that to me down the road later on about helping those guys, saving them. So anyway, we're getting back to Junior. He's had a lot of pressure. And we're talking, and I said, John, let me ask you a question. Your father was a tough guy, right? Yeah. Your father's going to die in jail because of Gravano. Yeah. And I'm going to just go and try and lay a little foundation, right? I said, John, you can't prove that. How are we going to kill 3 guys? You're just going to kill 3 guys because somebody thinks so or they want to? I said, why don't you do this? I said, did your father ask you to kill these guys? He says, no. I said, your father, he's the one in jail. He didn't ask to kill them? No. Good, that's your answer. Go back, tell them you talked to your father, and your father said, no, don't kill him. He sighed of relief, let out a deep breath, and he says, wow, I really like Louis Valerio, Big Louis. And that's how he went back and told them. As simple as that. And that's how Junior saved them. Now, am I going to put the cape on right now? That's just a fact. Did he save them? Did he have the voice to save them? Absolutely. He was the guy who made the call. No, leave them alone. That's right, Snuggles. See, she concurred. I'm over here. Where are you? Where you been all night?
How crazy is that? Mikey Scars, big time captain of the Gambino family, names his cat Snuggles.
No, Anthony named it. My son Anthony.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he was 5 or 6 years old.
Michael, Dom CiCale named a bunch of guys for the perfect crime family. He named you as a capo. Who would you pick for your version of a perfect crime family? 650 people in the chat.
Wow, still here. Very good.
Yeah, but you're still a very popular guy, Michael.
Nah, it's you.
You know what? I was trying to be humble. I do know it's me, but I wanted to be humble.
I don't know. You know what? I'll think about that. There's so many different aspects that you need to start a family. You need your intellects. You need your guys with compassion. They're pragmatic. And you need your killers. So it would have to be a soup, a minestrone soup of a whole bunch of guys. But you need the thinkers. You need the pragmatic guys. And leave all the killers, no administration for them.
Did the administration hold against Michael his relationship with John Jr. after he did his plea agreement and allegedly got his father to put him on the shelf?
No, not at all. I don't. No, they're not going to hold me account. Is that what it is? Did they hold me accountable?
I don't know what he.
The new administration was in around August 2001. I just beat my case. August 30th, 2001. And administration just had been put in place, and it was Pete Arnold and JoJo. So, no, the administration, no. If I'm reading it the right way.
Was Johnny Gambino a gangster or a racketeer?
He's both.
I know you hate that too, the gangster versus racketeer concept.
He was both. He was a politician. 100% politician.
So he wasn't a paper lion.
No.
Let's see here. Do you think there can ever be another Italian crime family in New York besides the 5 families?
Never.
No. They would get swallowed up by those families. So,
Why not
Michael, how much of
join one of the teams that are there already? That's all.
how much of La Cosa Nostra principles do you apply to your new life now?
Oh, the psychology that goes into that and your business acumen? Absolutely. Sure. You learn how to, it's all about reading people. If you want to go long, you got to know how to read people. You have to know how to be pragmatic. You have to know how to deal with different personalities that may be adversarial. And even the ones that are close to you. You got to know how to navigate through those relationships. Yeah, it's definitely you got to create a skill set if you want to go long in business or in that life. The guys that blast their way in, most of them get blasted out, either in prison or dead years ago. Today's a different time. Last 25 years or so, it's been relatively calm and smooth sailing for these guys. Paulie Dibbs, 906. Am I way behind?
Yeah, it's 9:53.
Oh, I'm way behind. Things again.
Nicky Scabetta, but I'll look for Paulie Dibbs. At what time was it? 90 what? 6?
906.
Okay. I'll look for that as you answer this. Nicky Scabetta died because he had dark secrets. Is it what everyone thinks?
You know, I'm going to do something down the road on what I think it is, or what I know it is, or no, it's not. I will do that down the road. I'm not trying to be coy, but it's a sensitive subject right now because it deserves a whole show in time. It depends if Ruggiano behaves himself or not.
Lost my train of thoughts. Get ready to say something. Oh, Junior talked about how those two of those guys were. Paul didn't even know a Nicky Scabetta, or these were civilians. Do you have a comment on that?
Oh my God, I said that right from day one, didn't I? He didn't know what a Nicky Scabetta was. That Nicky had zero to do with the street except for walking on pavement. That's what he had to do with the street. He walked out his door, walked on pavement, and walked across the street. Nothing to do with the street. He was in a kid gang with us at 12 years old. We went to junior high school together. And after he had changed his lifestyle, nobody bothered him. He went about his life. Did he stay in the neighborhood? Yes. There was Johnny Rizzo opened a gay club. He hung out in there. But he was around and still our friend, but didn't hang out with us because he had a different lifestyle. But he was not in the street. He was not on record with anybody. He was Sammy's brother-in-law. Nobody's going to bother him because he's Sammy's brother-in-law. As far as Paul Castellano know who and what he was, it's inconceivable. The only time he knew who he was when Sammy went to get permission to kill him. That's it. I gave you a little bit.
Okay. Michael, do you believe that the Sicilian Cosa Nostra and Ndrangheta clans operate today in New York City?
Yeah, somewhat. I would believe that. Yeah, they're a worldwide groups. Yeah, I would believe that. How about Florida? Florida too.
Big Lou, what's up, man? He's good. Him and your son talk pretty regularly. Yeah. I want to buy your book, but I want you to sign it. Is that possible? I'll holler at Mikey Jr. unless you have an email I can get a hold of you. blackhandprintmedia@gmail.com or mdnoexcuses@gmail.com. I'll send you a mailing address. So just ship it to me. I'll sign it and ship it back out. So I got someone helping me with that now because it's kind of piling up. So no problem, Lou. Okay, how long have we been on? We'll do a couple more, and then let's get in. Michael, did you see the new Mazza interview saying that Persico and Scarpa had the contract to kill Gotti Sr. if he beats the case in 1990? They were going to hit him at the after trial celebration at the Ravenite. Who's going to kill me? Me?
Get another question. That's silly.
Have you ever heard of Michael Genovese or Genovese, however you say it? Yeah. He was boss of Pittsburgh from 84 to 06. Do you know anything about the Pittsburgh Brigada?
No, I know the name. I'm not sure when he was the boss down there, but very well respected as far as I remember. Yeah. Pittsburgh was very, very close to our family way back in the teens. Way back. Matter of fact, I think with the yeast company might come out of there. Empire Yeast. I got knocked the rust off, I remember. Joe Traina, my grandfather, Dagula, some of the other guys had an interest in Empire Yeast. And it might have been out of Pittsburgh. They might have had a piece of it also, if I remember.
RJ, did you send out the other books? I just sent them out, actually, so I apologize. But you will have them very shortly. I sent out one, I think, to this person, I forgot. I know there was two I just sent out. So, all right. Did Joe Watts flip?
We'll ask Joe Watts.
Michael, you're really should run for office. You'd be a good politician. You're good at like dodging stuff, but also without like levying an insult. You just find a way to skirt away and get away from everything. Ask Joe Watts.
Here's one. 907. I'm stuck in 906, 907 area.
I can't even go back up that far.
Okay.
Michael, I got 670 people here. I mean, come on. I can't go back that far.
I hear you. Anthony Smith. Question. You had a fight with a guy, Paul, in Bay Ridge. Can you talk about what that was over? Anthony, no kidding around. Had so many fights. Paul. I don't know. It's nobody that I knew personally.
Michael, whose quote is this? You're not a man until you take a beating.
It's true.
Who said that?
I get punched in the face. Everybody's got to get punched in the face. It brings you back to reality.
That was one of your early quotes in our show. You're not a man until you take a beating. I took many beatings. You're not a man until you take a beating.
That's right. It's sobering. It's nice. When I was a kid, playing football, well, so we fought softball too, but not like football. Football, almost every game we did was swing outs, riots at the end, some of them. Bad riots. I used to like to fight as a kid. Lost most of them, but I like to fight. But interesting, Anthony, if you're still in, throw it in. Maybe we'll figure out Paul. Not sure.
Which other ethnic groups would you say the Gambinos were closest with? I guess besides the Westies, Irish.
Yeah, the Greeks. The Greeks, Knickerbocker, Astoria, and those areas that had a lot of gambling games they were very friendly with. And, believe it or not, some of the shuls, synagogues, we had, not me, I was a kid working them. But the families had, they rented them out, and the rabbi a lot of times would be involved there with the crap games. Yeah, we did that one.
We did. I asked you that. Okay. Do you ever miss the life?
Yeah. How could you not when everything is? Look, probably the best year of my life as far as money and power and notoriety. It was probably 1995. I was 40 years old. It was a very great year. So for me at that time. And if I'm going to say I don't miss that, you got to be out of your mind. had money, had everything going on.
Must be nice to be to walk into the back door of a restaurant like Goodfellas.
I walked in the front. Why I got to walk through the back?
But you said if it was sold out, you can go through the kitchen.
Yeah, not really. I didn't go through there much.
But you did before, right?
I did. Yeah, once in a while. You get through clubs. Like Pastels, sometimes they show up in the side door when the line was around the block, and they didn't want to slide everybody. You pull up your car, and how many people walking in? I go through the side, through the alleyway, and they open up the door for me. There was a parking lot right next to that.
I've been out with you many times. We still don't wait in no lines.
Money don't talk, it screams.
I got to ask you one question. How is it that you can always get the same, every time I've been out with you to the same, similar, the cigar place we go to a lot. How do you always get the same seating? Every time. We never sat nowhere else. The main spot in there, we always get it.
You got to spend some paper, brother.
Okay.
Money don't talk, it screams. I told you.
You guys haven't partied until you partied with Michael.
I'm old now. I don't have the stamina.
Dom CiCale can confirm because he was out with us one day.
One night, yeah. We was out with us a couple of days, but one night, yeah.
Yeah, he came with us to a meet and greet, and we had a ball. And so much fun. And Dom can dance. I'm confirming it. Dom?
He danced? I didn't see him dance.
Oh, Dom can move. No, Dom got the dance in the sense of like, the two-step. He was he got some, he's good. Dom danced a lot.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
He just holding his drink and just
he got the sway.
But he's not doing the Trump thing where it's not, he got some flavor with it. Trump don't got no flavor with it.
He's got white man disease. Trump.
But Trump does have the most viral dance ever. I love to watch it every time he's doing it.
Listen, you got that much money, you're Danny Terrio. You're the best dancer on the planet.
I agree. It's like Jay-Z said, there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire. I'm cute. All right, guys, we'll take 2 more questions and we'll get you guys out of here. This was fun. I'm surprised we have so many people here.
Can we do another one soon on YouTube? We got to figure we get some other people that we didn't get.
Yeah. Okay. You're the boss, Michael.
No, not the boss. No. I'm a grain of sand on the beach. That's it. I want to be a golf ball lost in high grass waiting for somebody to find me.
Have you guys seen Alite's response video to John Jr.?
I did. Yeah. I did, Matt. Yeah. Somebody asked me to see it, to take a look, and I did. And conciliatory, looks like he wants to extend an olive branch and put things in the past. I think it's a good thing. Too many family members were involved. And a beef between 2 men wound up evolving into children and women or devolved into that. So I'm glad it was refreshing to hear him go down that road, and hopefully, not that they could be friends or that's on them if they ever want to open that door. That'd be nice, but just to put that anger and vitriol, hate for each other aside, that's nice. It is 20 years plus. Leave it alone. Enough. Yeah, I only one thing. Can I say something? And then you can talk. Just you could say it about me with Sammy. It's 30 years, right? I'm not gonna let him go. Sorry. Because he's still here. He's still doing the same things. I can't let him go.
I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw. I'm gonna watch it when I just been so busy. But I saw enough of it. I think that I can say I was happy to see that. I really was. So that was a good thing. I agree also. So they're never going to be friends, I don't think. I think there's been too much that has happened. Yeah. But when you can just stop blowing into the flame, at least the fire can burn itself out. So, all right.
Anthony B, this is real quick at 9:13. Sum and substance, he says, do you think that John Sr. was doing that to make a point to the world? Because you know everybody would see he's a gangster till the end, I guess he means. No, I think that was just John. That was just John. It was not an act. Believe it wasn't the record that was stated was to show this is who I am. I got cancer. They're torturing me. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to die this way. John, go to trial. Stand up. Even though you got a steeple sticking out of your ass, you didn't rob no church. Those are the points made. And no, it wasn't an act. That's just John. And if the camera wasn't there, you would have seen a different John all over his son about that. I think he was being measured as not sound like an animal. But John, as we could see when he loses his temper in those Marion videos, he can get really angry.
Did you see that video I sent you like recently when John was talking about going to school with 2 different color shoes and being called white trash?
No. Nope.
I texted it to you.
I didn't see it.
I never seen it before.
You got to email it to me because the little phone there, I can't open them up.
All righty, we'll take one final question and let's.
You got to give the book away. Would you forget?
I already got it written in front of me.
Oh, okay.
So I'll announce that. And let's see. Michael, who picked the shooters on the Fred Weiss hit?
Those are Jersey guys. We didn't do that. We didn't do that at all. Those are Jersey guys that did that. It was Jimmy Gallo who shot him. That's all court records. I'm not saying anything revelations here. He pled out. It took 25 years for the murder.
All right. I always feel so bad because we could have this show for 8 more hours. Michael, there's so many questions, and I didn't even get to the ones that people left in the community. There was a good one. Oh, I did ask you one of them. The bigger your channel grows, the more people you disappoint.
Yeah, well, we're trying not. That's why we may be sneaking another live. If your schedule bears, we'll give these people another shot on it. They deserve it. Jack Straw, I like this question. If you had the talent to play Major League Baseball, will you still have chosen that path you took? I get that. You know what? Nah, I don't know. I would love to play center field at Yankee Stadium.
Michael, when's the last time you went out and you hit one?
Oh, it's been a while, but I got a batting range. I could go there. I got Anthony here now. Maybe we'll go the next couple of days before he goes back to school.
So the winner is, let's see, I have it here. What I do? Nicole AC PhD.
Nicole's been a very long time supporter of ours forever.
Well, if you don't send an email, because sometimes people, I got aprons still that you signed that people haven't sent.
I got them over here.
Yeah. Are their names on them?
Yeah.
Or is it blank one?
Yeah. To me.
Yeah. I found a couple more. Signed autographed Mikey Scar's aprons, and people didn't send their address in.
You know why? Because I think they weren't on the show when they won it.
That's what happens. They sign off, and then they don't know that they won. So AC, PhD, if you don't send me an address, then you're going to not be able to read the greatest book ever written. And
greatest story ever told.
I mean, just saying, something. Send your address in. I'll sign it, and I'm gonna go to Michael. He's gonna sign it, and we will ship it to you. All right.
Jeff, let me give Jeff a shout out here a minute. Jeff, yes. Anthony Vita, yeah, I met him. He was with Nino Gacci. Sure. I met his son too way back. You're talking about 70s when I met Anthony Vita. He was a nice guy, classy guy. As far as I know. I wasn't straightened out at the time. I didn't meet him as a wise guy. But yeah, he was a nice guy. And he had a son also. I don't know what happened with his son, though. I don't know if they straightened him out.
Full transparency, because I think I owe it to my crowd. Jeff, I'm sorry I have to say this, but the live me and Jeff just did in here a couple days ago, he was standing on a box. Sorry, Jeff. Jeff was standing on a box.
Jeff, vengeance is mine. Tell him, vengeance is mine. You got
Michael,
something
this was really
coming back
fun.
at you now. You got something coming back at you now.
This was fun though. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I love the life. You know, I love life.
Yeah, that's your.
I just want to get just about everybody that I can. You know, I'm scrolling through right now. Oh boy.
I see. I like pre-records because I don't like mess. So I like to record it, clean it up, edit it, put it in pictures. Michael just likes where he doesn't know which pitch is coming. So, but guys, this was great. Greatest live yet. Thank you, Paulie Dibs. But guys, really appreciate it. We've been here over 2 years now, and you guys have, Michael, I think we're probably the only channel ever that's never like had our. Maybe I shouldn't even knock on wood.
Don't say it.
Yeah, we've always everybody just keeps supporting us. So thank you guys. Truly, truly appreciate it. There's been overwhelming support for my book. Thank you for supporting the book. I just appeared on the Happy Hour with King Hap Social Club podcast. We had a great discussion yesterday. I did a good interview with Tom LaVecchia. I got one coming up with Jeff. I'm doing Gary Jenkins tomorrow. I did Law Business Insider and some other stuff, but that's all I can think of right now. I have a calendar right there, but so you can check out any of that stuff if you want to watch it.
We're gonna get you on Joe Rogan.
I am. You're my Joe Rogan.
Nah.
All right, guys. Michael, appreciate you, brother. Close it out.
Yeah,
hold on. He just asked me what's the email. It is, you can email MD for Michael DiLeonardo, MD no excuses at gmail.com. MD no excuses at gmail.com. Michael, close it out.
You think maybe we'll do something Christmas Eve or Christmas a little bit? Maybe give a half hour or so to wish everybody Christmas.
I know we have. Well, we have done one every year. So the last two Christmases. This will be the third. So, or was it Christmas Eve? But I'll do it. Whatever you want to do, for sure.
Yeah, we'll open it up to YouTube and Patreon all in one shot.
You want to sit in front of a tree again, like you did last time?
Absolutely. Was the tree full?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that, and maybe we'll all have a toast. We'll have a drink, health and happiness. So yeah, Christmas Eve and Christmas, we'll see how our schedules go, and we'll take a half hour, 40 minutes, and do something.
Yeah, sounds good.
But if not, for the people who don't show up, if we do it, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you before New Year. But if we don't, again, Happy New Year. God bless. Stay close to your families. It's a great time of year right now. Enjoy it. Keep smiling. Tolerate the people that step on your toes a little bit. And peace in your life.
Thank you, guys. Peace and love.
Take care.
Do you want to say peace and love?
Peace and love. You know who adopted your peace and love? Sammy, your man. Yeah, you know you got the same birthday, you and him?
You know what's funny? Now, you brought this up. You are, I'm half your age and black, and my birthday is the same as Sammy's. Junior's host is half his age, black guy, and his birthday is the same as John Sr.'s. How crazy is that?
Yeah, imagine that.
What the hell world are we living in? I'm born on March 12th, same day as Sammy. Yeah. Junior's host is born the same day as John Sr.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So, yeah. All righty. Go ahead. Close it out. Peace and love. And you say the other part. I'll say peace and love. You say the Sammy part. Peace and love.
I don't want to say no Sammy part. There's no Sammy part. He says it the Christian way now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we can't go there. I'm not even a joke. Yeah, God bless. Stay well. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Peace and love.